Birthdays are supposed to feel like a day where you matter, a day where, even if the world forgets you, your family doesn't. That's what I used to believe. But in my house, birthdays were just another excuse for cruelty. I woke up that morning with cautious hope. I was 26 now, not a kid anymore. I told myself maybe they'd change. Maybe they'd at least say happy birthday without a sneer. The kitchen smelled of food when I walked in, but it wasn't for me. Nicole, my younger sister, sat at the table in a silk robe, her nails freshly done, scrolling on her phone. In front of her, Mom placed a plate stacked with pancakes drizzled in syrup, topped with strawberries and whipped cream. Dad poured her orange juice, chuckling like she was a queen. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. When I slid into the chair at the end of the table, Nicole didn't even look up. She just muttered, "Don't sit too close, you make the pictures look cheap." I swallowed the sting and whispered, "It's my birthday today." Mom finally glanced at me, her lips curling. "So? You think that makes you special?" Dad barked a laugh. "Special? Trash doesn't suddenly turn into gold just because the calendar flips." Nicole snorted, snapping a picture of her plate for Instagram. "Happy birthday, Leech. Congrats on being the same nothing you were yesterday." I sat there quietly, staring at the empty spot in front of me on the table. No plate, no glass, not even a crumb. I tried again, softer this time. I thought maybe we could have breakfast together. Just once. That's when Dad grabbed a dirty plate from the sink, crusted with food from the night before. He walked over, smirking, and slammed it into my face so hard that the room spun. The ceramic shattered, and a crack of white pain exploded through my jaw. I fell to the floor, clutching my face, tasting metal. Mom's laughter rang out sharp and cruel. "That's what trash gets on a birthday!" Nicole clapped her hands like she was cheering at a show. Dad leaned over me, his breath sour with coffee, his voice a sneer. "That's your gift, Leech. Consider yourself celebrated." The three of them laughed together while I lay on the floor, my jaw throbbing, tears burning my eyes. Something broke in me that wasn't just bone. I didn't scream. I didn't fight back. I crawled to my room, every step stabbing pain through my jaw. I shut the door quietly while their laughter carried down the hallway, echoing through walls that had never been a home. In the mirror, my face was swollen, my jaw crooked. The pain was blinding, but the rage underneath was sharper. I pressed an ice pack against my face, staring at myself until the tears dried. "This is it," I whispered through the ache. "This is the last time." They thought they'd humiliated me. They thought they'd turned my birthday into another scar. But what they really did was give me the reason I needed to stop surviving quietly. And as the night settled in, while their laughter still echoed faintly through the walls, I began to plan. Not for survival. For revenge. The swelling in my jaw lasted for days. Eating was impossible without pain, so I lived on broth and cold applesauce while my parents devoured steak and cake at the dining table. Every bite they took was another reminder that they weren't just cruel, they wanted me to suffer. When Mom saw me wincing, she smirked. "Don't grimace at the table. People might think we actually abuse you. And really, Hannah, what's a cracked jaw? Nicole broke a nail last week and handled it better than you." Nicole held up her perfect hand, tapping her freshly polished nail against her glass. "That's because I'm worth fixing. She's not." Dad roared with laughter, pounding the table. "That's right. You patch a queen's crown, but you throw trash in the bin. That's the order of life." I said nothing. My silence was fuel for their arrogance. They mistook it for defeat, not strategy. By the end of that week, Nicole's birthday plans began. They were throwing her a massive party in the same house where I hadn't even received a candle for mine. Mom fluttered around, buying decorations, balloons, and champagne with the same money I'd helped earn through years of working side jobs. She ordered a custom cake, a towering creation with Nicole's face printed in edible glitter. Dad strung up lights in the backyard, his voice booming. "Only the best for our princess, not like the leech who wants pity for existing." Nicole pranced through the living room, showing off 3 new outfits she couldn't decide between. This one screams queen, this one screams legend, and this one just screams, "I'm not Hannah." Their laughter filled the house, bouncing off the walls like knives. And while they laughed, I observed. I noticed how Nicole depended on those parties, on the constant validation from her friends who only came for free food and alcohol. Without the show, she was nothing. I noticed how Mom's pride wasn't in herself, but in how people admired her daughter. Her entire identity was woven into Nicole's fake perfection. If Nicole's shine dulled, so would hers. And Dad, he needed control. He needed to be the loudest, the strongest, the feared. If people saw him fail to protect his perfect household, he would unravel. For the first time, I realized something. They had taught me how to destroy them. Their cruelty had revealed their weaknesses. While they were stringing lights and frosting cakes, I was planning in the shadows. I started with Nicole. She had left her phone unattended while soaking in the tub. I opened her messages, taking screenshots of the things she sent her so-called friends, mocking them, calling them parasites, laughing about how stupid they were for worshiping her. I didn't send the screenshots yet. No, not yet. Timing mattered. Next was Mom. She bragged weekly to her friends about her perfect finances, claiming she never touched debt, never needed help. But I found the truth in a stack of envelopes she'd shoved to the back of a drawer, unpaid bills, credit card max-outs, desperate notices. I slipped one into her handbag before her card night. She didn't notice until one of her friends pulled it out, eyebrows raised. By the time she came home that night, she was pale, her voice sharp with anger. "Which one of you touched my things?" she snapped, glaring at me and Nicole. Nicole only laughed. "You probably just embarrassed yourself naturally, Mother." Mom didn't laugh back. That seed of humiliation had been planted. And then came Dad. He strutted like he was untouchable, but I knew his pride was built on lies. He bragged about paying off debts I had secretly carried for years. Without me, he was nothing but a man yelling in an empty house. So I stopped making his life easier. I stopped hiding the late notices. I left them in plain sight, taped to the fridge, stacked on the coffee table, shoved under his recliner cushion. When his friends dropped by, they saw them all. "Having trouble, old man?" One of them smirked before leaving. Dad's face turned red. That night, he stormed through the house, screaming at everyone. "Who's trying to make me look weak? Who's turning people against me?" I sat silently in the corner, Mason's small toy in my hands, my face calm. The silence made him angrier, because for the first time, he couldn't control me. The night of Nicole's party arrived. Guests poured in, music blasted, laughter rang through the house. Mom fluttered around with champagne flutes, Dad barked orders at the caterers, and Nicole basked in attention, her glittering dress sparkling under the lights. They didn't know I was watching from the shadows, waiting for the exact moment when their world would crack. Because this time, I wasn't the one with the broken jaw. This time, I was the one holding the hammer. Nicole's party glowed like a circus. The backyard was lit with fairy lights, the speakers pounded with bass, and every shallow friend she had circled her like moths to a flame. Mom floated from group to group, bragging about her perfect daughter. Her smile wide but stretched thin. Dad barked orders to the servers, pretending he owned the night. I stayed in the shadows, my jaw still aching but healed enough to smirk. My silence was my weapon. Psst. The first crack came when Nicole grabbed the mic to make a toast. "To me," she purred, lifting her glass high. "The one who makes this family proud. Unlike some people," she let her eyes dart toward me in the corner, "who should have been tossed out years ago." The crowd laughed, Mom clapped, Dad roared, "That's my girl!" But they didn't know what was about to happen. Nicole's phone buzzed on the table beside the cake. One of her loyal friends picked it up and froze. "What's this?" she said, scrolling. The screenshots, the ones I had been saving. The friend's voice rose. "You called me a parasite? Said my family smells like garbage? Said I was only good for free food?" The crowd quieted. Nicole rushed over, her face draining. "Wait, now that was a joke." Another girl held up her phone. "She called all of us pathetic, look." Screens lit up across the yard as I pressed send, forwarding every screenshot at once. Nicole's glittering face crumpled. No, please, you don't understand. But they did. One by one, her followers walked away, disgust curling on their lips. The partygoers she lived for abandoned her like she was invisible. Hicked, Mom rushed forward, trying to save face. She didn't mean it, she's just stressed. But before she could finish, a woman from her bridge group stepped forward, waving an envelope. Oh, is she stressed like this? Overdue credit cards? Loans and collection? Thought you said you never touched debt, Evelyn. Gasps rippled. Mom's smile cracked. Her perfect little image was shredded in front of the very people she lived to impress. She turned on me, her eyes wild. You! She hissed. You did this! I didn't answer. I just smiled faintly, stroking Mason's toy in my hand. Dad, red with fury, tried to regain control. He stomped toward me, veins bulging. Enough of your little games. You'll clean this up. You'll fix it. But then the final blow landed. His oldest friend, Miss Green, stepped up, holding one of the foreclosure notices I had taped to the fridge. He shook his head slowly. All those years bragging about paying debts. Turns out your daughter was the one keeping you afloat. Without her, you're nothing but a broke bully. The yard buzzed with whispers. Laughter turned sharp, pointed not at me, but at him. For the first time, I saw it, the look of a man stripped bare. Nicole sobbed in the corner, her mascara streaking. Mom's hands trembled as she tried to gather her ruined reputation. Dad stood frozen, fists clenched but powerless. And I stood calm, steady, the one thing they could never break. Mom stumbled forward, voice breaking. Please, Hannah, please help us fix this. We'll lose everything. Nicole crawled toward me, her glittering dress smeared with dirt. Don't let them leave me, please. You're my sister. Dad's voice cracked, desperate. Just one more payment, one more chance. You don't know what it's like to lose everything. I laughed, a sound colder than anything they had ever thrown at me. Don't I? The silence that followed was heavier than any punch, sharper than any broken plate. I walked past them, through the wreckage of their perfect little party. Mason's photo clutched to my chest. Behind me, I heard the cries of a family finally tasting the gutter they had thrown me into for years. But I didn't turn around, because revenge wasn't about proving I was better. It was about making them choke on the truth they'd buried me under. And judging by their silence, their tears, and their begging, the truth was louder than anything they could ever laugh at again. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments, from where are you watching this video?